All right, good afternoon. Reporting live from Central Command here, and I'm down in the barn, and it's a little cold out. Had a really cold day. One of those days where they say it's not fit for man nor beast. So that gives you a little bit of idea. Quite a bit of snow. I fed cows. I plowed the drive. I've done my chores. Got the day off, and so what better to do than unbox my new Durston backpack? I just got in the mail yesterday, and so I thought, what the heck? This is a perfect day to do it. This is very similar to the Durston Wapta. If you looked at my channel before, you would have seen I did a review of the Durston Wapta before I went on a backpacking trip and adventure down in Peru, the Salcantay Trek. And here is the Wapta right here, and I have crammed it full of everything I've got. We're going to do about a month. We're going to do another section of the Ozark Trail, some buddies and myself. And I thought, well, let's go ultra light. I've typically been taking this Mariposa 60 on these through hikes, and this has been a good bag. I've had this for 3 years now and really like it, but it's got a few deficiencies, and I'm going to talk about those kind of in light of and I'm not going to, dog this bag at all because it's been a good bag for me, but it's got a couple things that I think that this might be a slight upgrade, a little change. One is the weight. This Durston Kakwa is a 40-liter bag, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than the 60. It's a little bit lighter by several ounces. It's got some other advantages that I like, which are similar to the Wapta. You might recall on these, and I'll try not to make a bunch of noise. It's going to interfere. I got a microphone right here. These pockets on the front shoulder straps. You put your sunglasses on one side, your phone in the other. Those things are money. I really like it. You can cinch them down, tighten things so your glasses, they won't spill out if you're going kind of off trail. One thing that this bag has load lifters right there. That's something the Wapta didn't have. Also has a really nice heavy handle right here, which I complained about with the Wapta. So some improvements there, which I think will be really advantageous. Now, this has the belt with it. I think with the Wapta, it was optional. And it's also removable on the Wapta. I don't think it's not removable here on the Kakwa 40, and that's okay. I don't think I'm going to be schlepping this through the airport, and where I might want to remove the belt and stuff it around somewhere. So that's going to be just fine. Also, a big advantage I think here versus the Mariposa and the Wapta is this belt has a tightener and a tensioner where you're going to be pulling from the outside in. Wow, what a revelation, because I can't tell you how many times I've been trying to, on those little belts, trying to grab and pull from the inside out. It just doesn't work. You're kind of in a bind. Then you got these keepers, these little straps, like you put your belt through your belt loops and through that final strap to keep your strap from flopping around. This you pull out and you don't have to worry about the keeper so much. Everything's kind of out there on the outside. So I really like that, and I think that's going to be major improvement. Looking around on the sides, you've got one taller bag on the side. You've got a shorter one on this side. Probably put your water over here. Easy to get to. Not as hard. You're trying to reach up there. Old man like me, you got bad shoulders, kind of hard to get that bottle out. You might be able to not have to ask your buddies, hey, would you get my water out for me when you're using this? I like that. Got some tie downs here. Boom, boom. This outer bag looks awesome. It's really solid. It's wrapped up here. I think that's going to be really, really good. I can't tell if there's a drain there. I'm sure there probably is. Yes, there is on each side, drain holes. I think that's going to be awesome. One of the complaints about this Mariposa, people really like it. I do too, but now look at this outer bag. It's got some holes in it. That material's not, yeah, 3 or 4, 5, 6 holes. Material's not super strong. Now it's kind of floppy and sloppy, and you know, this might be a major upgrade. I've seen some people complain about, oh, I really like my old mesh bag on the outside, and they didn't like this. I don't know why you wouldn't like this. It looks sweet. One of the things, this ought to come in handy on this bag, is this Y strap on top. You can loosen that thing up and then put something on top. You know, one of the reasons why I need a 4-liter bag, I put everything I needed in this Wapta 30, and it's just a little bit too small. I have about 15 pounds of gear in there. I don't have food in there. I just need a few more places to I just need some more room. So I think this is going to be fine. If you need some room on top, boom, strap it on the top with that Y strap. Looks really good. So at first glance, some major advantages over the Wapta, and this Kakwa has some major advantages over the Mariposa. Now this is a $250 bag. This is made of a material that's called Ultra 200. So on the scale of expense wise for ultralight gear, this is relatively inexpensive, and although it's still a lot of money. This stuff is made of the graphite. This stuff is made of the Ultra 200, both of these Durston gear bags. So this is supposed to be waterproof. You know, it's got a film in there. I don't see that the seams inside are taped. They are in this Wapta, not here, but I'm probably going to use a bag anyway to keep my Zen Bivy quilt in there. I mean, I'm an older guy, so I need a little bit more room. And the creature comforts that I like, I mean, I have a chair right here that I'm going to carry. And I know that's a big no-no for some of you, but you know, my roughing it at my age, again, 50 something, versus myself at age 25 or 30, it's completely different. Roughing it has a whole new meaning these days. So I want some things. I know what I want. I'm going to give this a shot. You're going to hear more about it. You're going to see it on the trail, and I hope to have favorable reports, but I'm going to keep an open mind and give you the straight scoop best I can. Thanks for watching. All right, I'm going on a hike tomorrow. Temperature's rising. It isn't surprising, and I think about 6:30 in the morning, it's going to be around 30 degrees. So Buddy and I are going to go out and try to get some exercise, get things moving in the right direction, because we have a pretty serious hike coming up, a 4-day through hike in about 4 weeks. So here's my Durston, and we're going to load it up. I don't know if you've ever worked with garage grown gear. I buy some stuff from them, and they have an ultralight backpacking checklist. I just laminated it to make sure we're not missing anything. I'm going to shove my shelter in here, Durston X Mid with the tent stakes and everything. Sleeping pad, which is my Zen Bivy UL. And boy, that's a nice sleeping pad. I love this thing. And it's the wider one for a wide body like me. I've got the Zen Bivy that I'm using. Goes down to about 20 degrees. And I do have a pack liner. Just for the purpose of this hike, I'm just going to kind of pack the basics. So I'll try to follow this list. I'm going to shove this thing full and show you what it's like. Go from there. Probably won't see me until I'm all dressed out and hike in the morning, because when I pack this tonight, I want to weigh it, kind of get an idea of where I'm at, and then try it out tomorrow, tell you what it feels like for the very first time, loading it down with a little bit of weight, and try it out there in the outdoors. See you tomorrow. All right, I'm on the trailhead. It's about 27 degrees, and we're going to go on a few mile hike, try to loosen some things up. And I'm putting on this Durston bag for the first time. A couple of observations I'm going to make, but I'm going to wait until we're done. All right, this is my post-hike debriefing. We walked about 3 or 4 miles, bushwhacked through some of this Missouri River bluff low S soil area, and a couple of observations about this pack. We'll start with this hip belt. That hip belt, as a size large, is smaller than the Durston Wapta size large. In other words, if you have a 40-inch waist, this thing's not going to fit you. I have a 38-inch waist. I'm 225 pounds. I was 250 pounds a year ago. This would not have fit me. That would have probably forced me into getting some kind of extension on this strap, which would not be preferable. And it does not come in a bigger size. So that is a limitation. I was surprised when I first put it on, like, the Wapta hip belt is bigger than this, and I put the Wapta right next door. I put tape measure on it, and sure enough, this one's smaller, even though it's professed and labeled to be the same size. This is a size large bag, and they do come in different sizes. Because I was concerned about not having the right size and there being a mistake, I emailed Kaviso. That's the outfit that sells for Durston on some of their products. And I think I emailed on a Sunday, and Monday morning, bam, I got a response email. And I responded back to that, and bam, I got a response email. So I was really, really impressed. 10 out of 10 for Kaviso. This is an unsolicited plug for them. I was wildly impressed and thankful for their responses. So hip belt fits me fine. Beware if you're larger. Bushwhacking down through this stuff, this netting here, I think this is a lot better than some of the other netting that you'll get on some of these other bags, like my Mariposa, which I've got some holes in. I think this is going to be able to withstand a lot more abrasions, very abrasion resistant. I've got 16 pounds here, got it all cinched down. The only thing I'm missing is my food and an extra change of clothing, like a jacket. So I think this is easily going to fit what I'm going to need for this 4-day haul. So that's the summary for today. We'll check back later. All right, doing a little practice run with the Durston Wapta. Frisky dogs, frisky boy here. So hey, this thing's doing great. Got it loaded up with everything except for one change of clothes and about 23 pounds. That's water, that's food, that's everything. So things riding great. Got a big backpacking trip here in about 3 days. I think we're gonna be ready. We'll report back on the trail probably. All right, we had to call an audible and come up to Nebraska instead of heading south towards Arkansas because of the rain. We're on the very edge of it. Probably about ½ an inch today, but it's a little muddy. Putting the backpack to the test. Here we are at Indian Cave State Park. We put in a few miles. Durston's holding up. Everything's nice and dry inside. A couple comments. I wish these things were a little bit lower. They're a little too high. Otherwise, we're going to do another 10-12 miles. We had a lot of rain yesterday, but no problems. That bag right there didn't get wet inside at all. Here you're going to see where this sweat just kind of beads up on the back of this pack in cold weather. Here you have this little zipper you can access. It's on the side pocket while you're walking. I'll put a couple little things in there. You can get to it when you're walking. It's handy, but it's not very big. All right, we're going to close out this video. I want to talk about this Kakwa one last time, kind of do an executive summary for you guys. I've got some pros and some cons. And the pros on this pack are the zippers are great on the side, on the belt. These are awesome, waterproof, high quality. This material is really abrasion resistant. You're going to love it. This is bulletproof stuff. And again, I really like this mesh better than the stretch mesh, I think. big upgrade over that stuff. The pockets on the side, this is nice and tall, easy to put a chair in and carry it without it flipping out. Over here, got kind of more of a low slung, kind of diagonal cut pocket. Put 2 water bottles in there, no problem. I can get my water bottle out by myself and put it back by myself. Takes a little bit of doing. Once it breaks in and has broken in a little bit, makes it a little bit easier too. This pocket here, this is like a little back pocket behind the tall pocket. It has a zipper, very nice. I can get in and out of there easy. It's a nice place to store a gator. Take it off, put it in there, and also had a little wet dry bag. That would be a nice place to put a strap for your keychain. I wish Durston would do that, because you know, you have your keys and you're like, man, where are my keys? And I don't want to lose my keys. Boy, if you had a way to secure that so you always knew where it was and felt comfortable you weren't going to lose them on the trail, that would be very nice. This Y strap on the back, a girl, the Y strap on the back gives you that extra carrying capacity up above. Very nice. All right, now let's talk about the cons. The cons are a couple. This waist belt is just not big enough. If this thing were spread out, the body of this bag were just an inch wider and maybe not so tall, when you get this thing fully loaded, boy, you can kind of feel it swinging, when it's up here. And it's pretty narrow. This is basically just a tube, right? It's just a glorified tube. And it does well, but if it was just a little bit wider, and if these belts were just a little bit longer, a couple things would happen. I think it'd spread the weight out, not make it so tall, a little easier carry, and these would be a little more accessible. They'd be a little bit more front forward where you could get in there. Right now, they're kind of back here, unnecessarily, in my opinion. I do really like this strap, this waist strap. I'm not a big fan of these buckles. I had a hard time getting on these buckles a couple times. Just kind of not, they look cool, but I think they could be better. There's got to be some better buckles out there. Load lifters are awesome, but this strap, these chest pockets are wonderful, but they're a little bit up here when I think they could be a little further down. And I've messed with the load lifters, and when I had this thing dialed in, man, they were still too high. So I think if this strap, the physical cushion strap, was a little bit longer and these were a little bit lower slung, it would be a better fit, better access, better kind of accountability, where you could look down a little easier and find out what's going on. Also, this strap here, I wound up buying an aftermarket, so I had a whistle. I like to have the whistle. It doesn't come with the whistle. And then the fastener on this side, dang it, that's not long enough. It just isn't long enough. Fix that. I compared it to all the straps that the guys I was hiking with had. Theirs were all a little bit longer. It needs to be longer. It's too hard to get, by the time you grab the strap, your thumb is basically covering this thing. It's just not long enough. Make it easier to manipulate and grab and go. That's what we want to do. Throw that thing on, grab and go. And it needs to be an inch longer for that to be more effective. You can tie these down real good and cinch them down. I really like that. Ventilation on the back. We talked about that. You saw a picture of it. This is a great bag for cold and cool. When it gets hot, and I haven't tested it out in hot, that's going to really be slick. So the ventilation is a drawback. That's nothing new. That's not a big surprise. Overall, though, this is a very good pack, but they didn't nail it. There's some things that can be improved and should be improved on the next generation to make this a better pack, please. I hope they listen to this. Hope somebody does. I enjoyed the pack. I'll give it a 6 out of 10 overall, and that's pretty solid. But next time, stick the landing, Durston. I think you can do it. You are onto something really nice here, and this is a great base prototype, but one more version, take out the kinks, you'll get there. Hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Hopefully the wind didn't bother you too much. This tree is my backdrop. Looks like it's snowing. It's a cherry blossom tree. It's awesome. Hope you have a great spring, great summer. See you on the trail.
Oh, Sarah, here we go again. I can't get past the pain, the water won't set.